Hey everybody, I'm Tiffany Foy. Welcome to the Rambling Gypsy podcast, and we are cruising along with our pre-game to our SPF 90 tour that we are doing in 2025. And so this is our Wondering series, and we are launching that in Fredericksburg, Texas, which is out in the hill country of Texas, about an hour outside of New Braunfels, where you guys know that I'm from. And this is Curtis Montalbo.
Hi.
And Curtis and I met in New Braunfels a long time ago. When you very first started bar backing, right?
Yes. So, about 2007, my brother opened up a bar in New Braunfels called Billy's Ice, still there, owned by Bob Wilson now, one of our good friends.
Yep.
Started bar backing for him. It actually opened the summer after I graduated high school, and then here we are almost 20 years later.
And Curtis this is called The Top, you guys, and this is in Fredericksburg, Texas. And so we're going to talk about how, so 2007, you started bar backing.
Yes.
And what were you thinking? I mean, that was just your side gig.
Where was
Curtis going at that point?
I was in college in San Antonio at St. Mary's, so I'd come to New Braunfels on the weekend and work at the bar, and I bar backed for 6 to 8 months, something like that, and then started bartending, and then just kind of went up from there. I ended up staying at Millie's for like 8 years after I graduated.
Right.
Ended up moving to New Braunfels, loved the town.
Right.
My whole dream was I was gonna coach baseball. I was gonna become graduated college. Was gonna be a high school art teacher, which I did for a little bit. I was gonna coach baseball and see if I could make that into a lifelong career. And
so was baseball your gig when you were younger?
I loved baseball. I was never very good at it.
Yeah.
So, but I do love the game.
Right.
And it's funny now that I'm an adult. My father-in-law is actually an ex-MLB player and coach. So, yeah, worlds collided. Yeah,
wow.
Which is funny. Yeah. So, and he made a nice career out of it. He did what I wanted to do. He did it for 40 years. He could actually play baseball though.
That's crazy.
A little bit different.
So you have Gage, my oldest. He played baseball since from the age of 5 all the way up through, and they played select ball right there in Little League. They were one game away from the Little League World Series. That was what he was going to do, and he started playing football in high school and got his first hit, and then went to UTSA, played college football.
That's awesome.
Not baseball.
Yeah.
His whole life could give two shits. I don't think he knew what a football was until he got into high school and felt what it was like to smack the shit out of somebody else. And so then
it's a feeling. I was the opposite. I played football in high school too, and not my favorite.
Yeah. No, he's got some issues with it. He likes to do that, but it's kind of crazy when he went off to play, how things changed.
And life is crazy. You never know where we're gonna be at.
I never thought I'd be
a year from now or 2 years from now. When I first met my wife, she was born and raised in New Braunfels, and she always said she would never leave New Braunfels.
Yep, I said that too. I went all the way to Bull Verde.
Yep, and here we are in Fredericksburg. We're not super far, but it is different. And New Braunfels has changed a lot in the last 7 to 10 years. I love New Braunfels, but I knew about 5 years ago, I knew that it probably wasn't where I wanted to be forever. So I got lucky. My brother opened the bar, and I started working for him, and through that place, I got to meet all kind of people, musicians. Went on the road with different bands, Statesboro Review. We got to go for a couple weekends on the road with Whiskey Myers and William Clark Green, and really cool artists and stuff. Got to meet a lot of cool people, and then obviously other bartenders, and then bar owners. And I worked at Lone Star with Richie and Freiheit with the Rhymers, who now they have Lost and Found, the Trough, and Freiheit, and just really good business people. So I learned a lot.
Very good.
You learn a lot of what to do. You also learn a lot of what not to do. It's a lot of.
Well, it's good that you learn.
Yeah, exactly. So
attention.
And here we are. We're brand new, but we're really excited. We're a little bit off the beaten path in Fredericksburg. We're not right on Main Street, which is where all the tourists like to go. So we do get a lot of locals, which is what we like. A lot of locals. We're right in between. We're right next to Fredericksburg. We're less than 3 miles from Main Street, so we're not far. But about 15 miles west, 290, you get Harper, and that's a little booming town that's starting to grow a little bit. And we're just surrounded by all these nice little hill country towns. And we get a lot of the locals, which is what we want. We want to be the local bar where you can hang out and chill, and comfortability and consistency are the two things that I try to tell everybody that we we provide. You know, you can come in with your boys and watch the game and have some beers, or we make specialty cocktails. You're drinking one of them right now, martinis. It's a cool date spot. And we're open every day, which is actually a rarity in Fredericksburg. We're one of only 3 or 4 places that serve alcohol that are open every single day. So.
Yeah, that's rare. I mean, Braunfels is even one of those, like Fry High School's on Mondays.
Yep.
And it's been really kind of awkward because we've been running around kind of business meetings and whatnot. We were supposed to be in front of the other day, and they're like, you know, it's closed on Monday. I'm like, I'm born and raised and lived there my whole life. What the hell when we start closing on Mondays? But
hey, listen,
but that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, in certain towns and certain businesses, I mean, it just works that way. That's just how this town is. Mondays and Tuesdays, it's pretty slow. It's funny, a lot of my friends that are in this industry, those are their days off.
Yes.
So, like here, every Monday and Tuesday, we do local industry night. So it's 15% off everything for pretty much everybody. I don't really ask if you're in the industry.
Can I see your ID?
Yeah, Mondays and Tuesdays, we do our local industry night.
Registration card, please.
Yeah, so I get a lot of friends that come visit me on Mondays and Tuesdays, and they're like, where should we go eat? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, because nothing's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, I'd love to get to a point where our business is doing so good that we can close for a couple days that are slow, but I really do like to be open every day. I like to, I love when somebody comes up and they don't expect us to be open. They're like, oh, we were just checking it out. I'm like, well, I'm here, come on in, get a beer, get a drink.
What was your inspiration to start this? I mean, obviously you're high, but all the way, you're here. You're at the top of the ladder.
We're at the top. Finally made it. Yeah. People always ask us about their names. I've been doing this for going on 19 years, so I have different names for all kinds of different bars and logos and color schemes. And when we finally decided to do this, I sat down with my good buddy Corey DeMint, who's with the Saints. He did our logo and our merch and all that stuff, and we went through a bunch of different designs and names and stuff and color schemes, and I just love the top. It's super short, it's simple, it's easy to remember, it's nice and punny. Yeah, I can make stupid jokes on Facebook about it. Yeah, people like it. But honestly, my inspiration for this was just, I mean, I wanted to do this for a long time, but eventually I finally met who is now my wife. And you know, when you meet the special someone, you go, okay, this is what life's about. I need to, if this is what I love to do, and this is what I want to keep doing, I can't bartend forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wanna start a family with my wife and eventually have kids and things. And bartending is a fun job, but it's draining and it's a lot of nights. And you know, I like to, and even now, you know, I own this place. We were talking about this earlier. I'm here all the time, and that's just how it has to be right now. But you know, eventually,
I don't know that really ever goes away.
No, it won't ever. And my wife knows how I am. I'm a workaholic. I more than a day and a half off, and I'm like going nuts. Yeah, I gotta go to work.
Right.
But you know, I met her, and I realized, you know, if I want to stay in this industry, I need to make the next step. We need to do this full on. We need to, yes, we need to get to the top. We need to open up our own place. We need to, you know, level up essentially. Right. And you know, we have that conversation all the time. You know, your goals never end. You know, you reach one goal, and then all of a sudden you have another one, and they just keep growing. So you just got to keep leveling up, keep your foot on the pedal. So that's where we're at right now, and it's the early stages. But you know, we bought 4 beautiful acres.
That's what I want everybody to understand. That this is not just your little barn that's sitting on the edge of a piece of property. You have 4 acres out there.
Yeah, beautiful acres too. It's all fenced in. We have a cattle guard. So we're one of those places we want the kids to come back. Bring your kids during the day. Let them run around. We have cornhole and all kind of stuff for them to do.
Bring
also, bring your animals. Bring your dogs. Bring your goats. Bring your llamas. Not a whole lot of people bring their goats and llamas. You're the first, but
there's that one that's just gonna shoot you a text and go, do you mind?
Yeah, and we get messages. I get messages all the time, like, oh, can we bring our animal? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I always tell people, if you bring your dog, I have to meet them first.
Yes, it's a risk though.
Well, it's a risk, but I just meant I want to meet all the bugs. Like, bring me all the animals. Yes.
I loved the fenced-in area. So when we came down for the first time, you had the big crawfish boil here.
Yeah.
And we showed up, and first parking, everything was great, and which is usually better chaos, because when you tell people, believe me, I do it every single weekend at resort, you tell people to park, and you got one that's going to park this way, one that's going to park this way, and everybody figured it out. It was awesome. The loop around was cool. What was really impressive is going up and seeing all the kids outside
Yeah.
They were having a good time. The parents were chilling, which was kind of what inspired me with my pumpkin patch, because it wanted that place where people could go, sit down, have a cocktail, listen to some live music, and be able to bring their little Johnny shithead that they're thinking, I can't ever take him anywhere.
Let them run around.
No, let them.
We try to keep them outside, but like I said,
it's all fenced. Everything is safe.
We have a good acre and a half that is completely fenced in. Where if you're on the patio or even inside and you can see out, we have big windows behind the bar, you can see them.
So you can see
it's everything's supervised.
They had frisbee gun. They had cornhole. They were playing. I mean, throwing bags. I mean,
and my niece and nephew and all their friends come out here. They always seem to bring something else and leave it. And they're like, "Oh, we left our gloves," and I'm like, "We can leave it here. It's fine."
We'll put it in the toy box.
We have a nice big chest for them with all kind of stuff to do. Awesome. But again, that's what we wanted. We wanted comfortability, consistency. You know, like I said, bring your family out here. Bring your animals. Bring your wife. Bring your girlfriend. Don't bring them at the same time. That usually doesn't work.
Right.
But we just wanted a place where people could come and enjoy themselves and be comfortable. Local spot.
Right.
And again, we have 4 acres. We actually bought it's a little over 4 acres, and technically this is about a 25-acre plot.
Okay.
So right behind us, we actually have some Airbnb rentals. They're super cute, nice cabins. They're nice and small. They're basically built for a couple, but they have nice porches, hot tubs on the porch, and they are literally, I could hit them with a rock. So they are in walking distance to our bar. Exactly. So, so our eventually long-term goal is to try to expand this property as much as we can. Eventually, put a big stage, do some bigger shows on the weekends. I think we got our foot in the door in this area at the right time.
At the right time. I was just about to say that growth is happening so.
So one thing we
you're
love.
You're gonna blink and they're gonna be right.
Exactly.
Here.
We're
gonna
like
be sitting here and
we're like 2.9 miles from Main Street, but in 10 years from now, that 2.9 miles is gonna be
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one thing we do love about Fredericksburg is it is a small town still, and it really is. There's only about 18,000 people here, give or take. We really like that they seem to be trying to avoid what is happening with these other towns. New Braunfels is a great example. Now, New Braunfels has 35 running right through the middle of it. So, you can't really do much about that. But the city of Fredericksburg is actively trying to prevent overgrowth too soon, which we like. We feel like it is going to stay that small town for the foreseeable future. However, like you said, growth is inevitable.
It is inevitable.
It's going to happen. We're on the west side of town. The east side of town is towards San Antonio and Austin. So we feel like when growth does happen, it'll probably go that way first, which we also like about this location. But, there's been a couple places in town that have tried to do the outdoor music venue and the bigger artists and stuff. And, we're in the Texas Hill Country, so I can name you hundreds of artists that are great and phenomenal and big names, and they draw people. We're close enough to Austin and San Antonio where you think that you'd be able to draw those people, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to drive an hour 15 to Fredericksburg just to see Randy Rogers when I can see Randy Rogers in
our backyard,
Helotes and New Braunfels and San Antonio and Austin. He's actually playing in Lucabot.
Right.
I don't work for Lucabot, but go see Randy Rogers in Lucabot. But so I just think this town is not quite ready yet. There's not enough sustainable people in town to where if you don't draw anybody from out of town, you're still going to do good. But I think we're getting there. So I think we're just kind of slowly trying to do it the right way, not expand too fast, take our time. But eventually, we want the top to be one of the premier music venues in the state. We want to be up there with Luca Bach and Floors and Whitewater and Billy Bob's and places like that. And again, we have the area, and we eventually will have more. Right. So we're just excited for our future.
Yes, I am too, and I think you're doing it. I was just about to say right before you said time, I said timing is everything.
Yep.
In so many different ways, and I think you absolutely. Sometimes things just fall into place, and most of the time they don't. But I think you actually.
Oh yeah, more often than not.
Yes, but I think you are.
We're learning that. I worked for a lot of really good bosses. I've worked for some not so good bosses. you know, it's never ending. When I think about those days where I'm like, oh, that guy was in a shitty mood.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no wonder he was in a shitty mood.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
nothing works.
Yes.
Oh, you just come in here one day and all of a sudden nothing's working.
Yes.
Or everything works for 2 weeks and then you have a big event like we bring in 500 pounds of crawfish and the day before 3 things stop working. And you're like, why is this happening?
Exactly.
But, you know, it's just part of the territory and you just got to take it day by day. And, you know, you were just talking about timing. Me and my wife say this all the time. We can try to take control of our lives as much as we can and try to have control of our timing. We really don't have any control over anything at the end of the day. So, you know, you just got to go with the flow and keep a smile on your face and try to keep everybody happy and, you know, stay open.
Which is, that in itself is a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
We have a deal that's coming up where we are hosting a big, it's a corporate event, 500 to 700 people, and it has now gone where they just came back to us and said, would you guys mind coordinating, planning, what do we call it, what do we even call it, whatever that, taking over the whole thing. And I said,
yeah.
And I said, well, that's kind of what I do every single weekend at the river, because it's I'm taking over the whole thing. And I said, oh my gosh, I just feel so much better because now I'm like fully in charge.
Yeah, you have full control.
So if I get there and like you're saying, you show up that one day and everything just takes a shit. If I show up there where, you know, when things are out of my control, I start to lose it. It is very hard to keep that smile on your face when you walk in and you've got that one asshole that's like, and it's
you can't.
Tough.
Yeah, you can't. All you can control is what you can control. You can't control other people.
Right.
You can't control most things, but what you can't control, you need to make sure that you're doing things the right way and doing the things that if you showed up to a place, that, especially a place you've never been before.
Yes.
It's the little things. I tell people all the time, I'll come up here all day and get a bunch of stuff done, and it's all stuff that no one else will notice except for me.
Right.
But it's stuff that is important, you know. It's exciting. It's one of those things, like some days you wake up and you're like, oh, and then some days I wake up and I'm like, let's go. Yeah, I'm fired. Yeah, I'm fired up to get stuff going. But you know, we're at a point where, you know, me and my wife, we have a couple investors. One of them is my family, and then the other one is a local guy who's friends with my sister and brother-in-law, Stephen Knight and Justin Backus. They own Chicken Expresses, all the Chicken Expresses around here.
Nice.
Here, Kerrville, Comfort, Corpus. So we brought them in. They're great guys, great young guys with the same kind of vision we have, which is what we were looking for. When I was in New Braunfels, we had a couple opportunities to do something there, which, you know, COVID put the kibosh on one of those, which is fine. And then we had a couple more, but I just got to the point where I just felt like New Braunfels, I felt like I was trying to force it a little bit.
Right.
So I told my wife, I was like, let's go try to find some other property. And literally, this is the second place we looked at. And it wasn't even, we didn't even specifically come find this place. We looked at one property in Blanco, and my brother-in-law works at a winery here in town, which actually they just moved to Johnson City, Lost Straw Winery, one of the best wineries in town. Go check them out. They actually just bought themselves out from under William Chris.
Okay.
William Chris is just phenomenal. Everyone knows them. So Lost Straw is doing great. So we were in Blanco. We're like, well, you know what? We're already almost to Fredericksburg. Let's go see Sean and get some wine.
Yes.
And so we went and saw him, and we were only there for less than a glass of wine. And a gentleman walked in, and my brother-in-law said, hey, go introduce yourself to that guy. He's got some property. He used to have a bar on it. It's closed now. I think he's trying to sell it. So that was Mr. Painter. Met Mr. Painter, exchanged information. The very next week, came up, looked at the property, immediately fell in love with it.
Yes.
And a year or so later, here we are. It's just funny how it happens.
Isn't that crazy?
We tried for literally 3.5 years to try to get something going in Braunfels, and a week and a half, 2 weeks of looking elsewhere, and we found it. It's timing.
I love when a plan comes together.
Yep, it's timing.
But I
it's
tell
crazy.
you what, born and raised in Braunfels, I have spent a lot of time in Gillespie County.
Yeah.
I showed animals my entire life, and so I was all over Texas. And it is really cool to see you come from Braunfels. And when I saw that you had posted that you opened this up in Fredericksburg, I'm like, fucking Fredericksburg?
Yeah.
Like, that's big money town, and look at
Yeah.
look at
I
Curtis, our
know,
little
it's
bar
crazy.
back. He's all grown up, and
I still I don't necessarily feel like we fit in here quite yet, but
I'm
we're
like,
gonna
I
get
can't
there.
even
Yeah.
afford a couple good bottles of wine in Fredericksburg. Curtis just popped him up a bar and it's freaking epic.
It all, like I said, it's all timing. It's all about everything kind of came in perfect. And you know, Mr. Painter gave us a great deal on this place, and he worked with us on certain things that we needed help on, and it just all kind of fell into place. You know, it's and you know, nothing's perfect. You know, we've had our stumbles. You know, we spent a lot.
You're going to have them. I've had the freaking resort for 10 years, and every time I turn
10 years.
around.
And I bet when you first started that, you were like, 10 years from now, we're going to be here. And it's 10 years, and you're going, oh gosh. But like again, it's never ending. It's what happens when you.
Those things.
That's the reason they're called your dreams, because you know, honestly, most of the time, if not all the time, they're pretty much unattainable for most people. You're always going to keep working, and you're always going to keep striving for better and trying to get things the way you want. Out here, we're just trying to, you know, I just try to do like, I have a big list, and I try to get like one thing done a week, you know what I mean? Just try to knock one out, and of course, there weeks go by and I don't get nothing done, and some weeks I get 3 things done, and it's just a constant. You just got to keep moving forward.
Okay.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's okay to not get something done.
Don't overset your goals too high, because then it makes you it's devastating.
Exactly.
It hurts your own personal feelings. You have to have those one-on-one with yourself. So set reasonable goals, Curtis.
Exactly.
Okay?
We are
one at a time.
We are trying.
Yeah.
We are trying. Our goals are hefty though. I tell people all the time, you know, I have all these great examples of different things, but I tell people all the time, I love Whitewater. Whitewater is one of my favorite places, and that's my goal right now. Our goal is to get this property to be a Whitewater, someplace you want to go that's going to have amazing music all the time, great service. My friend Becky Bright does all the bars out there. She's phenomenal. Just consistency and just honestly, for lack of a better word, greatness. Like we really want to achieve that. Like I said earlier, there's so many great artists around here. And listen, I'm 37, and I'm not. I know. I tell people that, and they're like, "You're a baby." I know. But when I was 21, I knew everybody. I knew not, and I don't even mean personally, but if you were up and coming artist, or you were the big thing, or you were kind of on the end of your career, kind of getting to that age where you're not playing as much, I knew everybody. And now I'm at that point where, you know, we're not in the scene as much, and I get people sending me people all the time, and I'm like, how have I never heard this person? They're so good. And it makes me excited. I'm excited to not only have them come play at the place that I own, but also
to watch the growth.
Exactly. To give those people
the music moment thing. Because you watch your babies grow up. And
to give those people the opportunity to become the Cody Cannons and the Mike Rogers and those kind of names out there, the people that we grew up with. You know, I'm from Helotes. I grew up 3 minutes away from Flores, so every weekend that's what we did. And if we couldn't afford to go into Flores, we would sit outside because the guy that owned the property behind was one of our friends' dads, you know. And I say afford, it's so funny. Like back then, it's crazy to think we used to go see full cross Canadian ragweed shows for $20.
I was about to say
The good
I
old
was just
days.
talking about Pat Green sitting in Hastings in New
Yeah.
Braunfels way back when, him talking about, I've never been up at 11 o'clock before my life, and y'all please be patient with me. And I was like, oh my Lord. And we were just with him at a deal that he did, an event that he did, and it was just funny talking about old times and how we're spoiled we are. And you look around in your bar and you look at your posters and the history that's in this building that you have.
I got some good ones.
You got some really,
and it's
really
funny.
good
I need,
ones.
my wife jokes. She says we need 2 more bars to hang on the posters that I have. I have so many. I have like 200 more in my storage. Most of these were.
You need to start putting them on the ceiling.
I know. Well, see, I want to do that. I just want to. In fact, when I started hanging them, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and then you know, you just start doing it, and you're like, I'm just gonna start doing it. Most of these I collected myself over the years. When I was younger, you know, going to a concert, getting a concert T-shirt or a hat was always a cool thing. But I got at a certain point, I just started collecting posters. Especially, not everyone had posters, and they don't have a lot of them. In fact, like our friend Morgan Avery, she is like
poster queen.
She's like the best in the biz. In fact, I was talking to somebody. I was like, I need to contact Morgan about doing some posters for us, because I want to start doing yearly events here, and we've slowly started. So like 2 Saturdays ago when you were here, we did our official grand opening 4 months after we actually opened, which is
there's
also
nothing
hilarious.
wrong with that.
And it went great. We went through 400 pounds of crawfish in less than 2.5 hours.
Which
we went through.
That's Comal Crawfish in New Braunfels.
Comal County Crawfish is the restaurant New Braunfels.
There you go.
The food truck is Comal Crawfish Company, which they do have links, but they technically are separate. That's my buddy Terrence Day. Terrence Day is
Terrence
the
comes
best.
and cooks at the resort.
Yes, he is the best.
He is a hot house, and we love him to freaking pieces.
So we actually have Terrence and his wife. They come out about twice a month just to have their normal food truck.
Yes.
And they always do great. We always do great. We are doing another crawfish. Shameless plug. We're doing another crawfish boil Easter weekend.
Okay.
3-day crawfish festival. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday we're doing an Easter egg hunt for the kids. Saturday we're doing 6 hours of live music.
Steiner, did you hear that?
Yeah. And then Sunday we're doing a peeling party, so whatever we have left over on Sunday. And Sunday we're doing we've been doing a song swap with Devin Bays and Gary Lee Cox from Lone Star Souvenirs. And they draw such a good crowd, and they're just so fun.
So you need to tell all the guys that you've got coming in. I created a page. It's a group. It's not a page, but it's called Starting Artists on Facebook.
Yes, I was already a member.
Yeah. That was way back when. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and I always promo on the musicians, and had a bunch of them on the show, and talking about where they started and letting everybody know their history, and then watching them go to where they are now. And this one hasn't aired yet, but we were pondering on bringing back the old River Road Ice House song swap days and the thing.
Yes.
And so we're going to bring that back. We're going to do it at the resort. It would be epic to have a series out here, but we're going to. That's why we
would absolutely love to do that.
So
I just saw you posted Manzi Lowry the other day. Yeah. And I went in there and selfishly plugged that he's going to be here I think 3 or 4 times the next few months. Yeah. He's phenomenal. Yes. Also love Manzi because after he performed, he played outside. It was actually kind of crappy weather when he was here. Played outside, and then we moved him inside. It's so funny. This building shouldn't be, but it's got pretty good acoustics. I don't know.
Very good acoustics.
I don't know if he had one or too many drinks. Manzi said he wanted to record an album in here, so I'm like, okay, sure. Let's do it. But what I also love about him is after his show, he spent about 30 minutes to an hour walking the entire property, picking up rocks.
Fossils, and he does that at my ranch all the time. He comes through and showed up there an hour earlier, and he was like, "Do you mind?" I was like, "Go. You can have every rock out here."
He was asking me all histories of my trees.
Yeah. Look, you let me know, and we'll jot it down.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
But to answer your question, we've had. There's a lot of great local musicians in Fredericksburg, and there's also a lot of great in the area. So I'm trying to do a combination of local and, like I said earlier, I'm very lucky. I know a lot of great musicians. Yes. Our opening night was Thursday, October 3rd, which just so happened to be my birthday. We didn't plan that. We wanted to open up in July, but you know how things go. Oh, yeah. Austin Gillum played that night, and it was phenomenal. He actually called dibs on it when he first heard that I was doing this. He goes, I want to play your opening night. I go, Done. I ain't not arguing. He's also going to be back here. I got him 2 or 3 times over the next 3 months.
I just posted, I don't know if you saw, so we did one of his very first music videos in my living room, talking about acoustics and how, because I've got super tall ceilings in my house, and it's not like it's a big house, it's just goes straight up. And we shoved him and John and they had a 5-piece that day in the corner of my head. It was just
jam
everywhere. We were standing on the kitchen counters. Scotty, which is Summer Shandy, you guys know that. I mean, he had cameras shooting, things were flying, and strawberry lemonade. That went.
It's the jam.
Blue, and I had a big old gallon of strawberry. It was it was a really good time, and I just reshared that video, and I was like, this. And look at him now. And I was like, this is way back when. And
he used to play him and
so good.
Him and Nick Worley used to play like every other Tuesday at Billy's when I used to bartend there and manage there.
Him yelling at people out in the thing.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Oh,
Be quiet.
Oh yeah.
I'm singing.
Yeah.
Like Austin, we know. We know.
Yeah. We hear you. Be nice to everybody.
If they hear you in Fredericksburg, and we're in Braunfels right now.
Austin Gillum's phenomenal. Austin Gillum's the guy that if you want somebody to bring the house down, just hire Austin Gillum. Austin Gillum. We've had Timberwild, Garrett and Bo out here a few times, and we got them booked a couple more times.
Yes.
Damon Curtis, JJ Garrett Band, a lot of New Braunfels guys that I know for a fact will put on a great show, will show up. You know, they're worth every penny that we pay these guys, and they deserve it too.
Yeah.
Guys that are actually trying to do this full time. And
so your live music days that you're doing out here are weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, or are you doing?
So we've actually January and February we only did Fridays and Saturdays. It's the slower time and the weather, you know. But we are back to Thursday through Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah. So Thursdays a little bit earlier. We usually do 6 to 9. And then Fridays and Saturdays we'll do 7 to 10 or 8 to 11. I kind of let my artists, you know. Again, this is not New Braunfels. This is Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg is not a big late night town. It's a late afternoon, early evening town. That's when your crowds. Yeah, that's when your crowds are coming out.
So but New Braunfels isn't a late town either. Remember?
Well, I mean, it's not. The bars aren't open, but people still want to party.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, if you have music going until midnight, they'll show up for it. And then Sundays we do early afternoon. So there's a local place in town called Hondo's, great spot. They do live music noon to 3.
They do.
So that's where they get a big crowd. So we actually start at 4. So go to Hondo's, listen to them, have a margarita, and then come and spend the rest of your day out here at the top. And we always have really great guys on Sunday. We have our little patio, which is where we have everybody now. We are in the middle of putting a stage right here outside the patio, so I can do a little bit fuller bands. We have power and all that stuff out there. We're just kind of, again, baby steps. We're getting there. Yeah, exactly.
Don't wake up and go, oh shit, I just.
But yeah,
that's too big.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, live music at night, late afternoon on Sundays. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are open, full bar. Sometimes we have a food truck, sometimes we don't. I try to post as much as I can. You can call us.
Let's talk about your bar menu for a second. What are we looking at? Bar menu? Full bar.
Full bar. And when I say I can make anything, I am not exaggerating.
I'm going to tell you that Curtis can make anything. Curtis has been making for all of us for a very long time. You were one of the only ones that would ever remember my Texas two-step that I started a million years ago.
D. Betty, you helped us. We used to sell the crap out of D. Betty.
And so it's grapefruit, D. Betty, cranberry, D. Betty, and a splash of soda with a lime.
Yep,
I labeled it the Texas two-step, and crazy enough.
And now they have so many flavors. You can
literally.
You have Texas two-step could be anything you want. In fact, I actually my look around 2 days ago.
You could do a squat, a bend and squat. I have a whole bend and squat thing.
2 days ago,
that's another
I'm a pineapple guy. One of my my cocktail on the menu is called the El Jefe. It's muddled up fresh jalapenos, pineapple juice, reposado tequila, and ginger beer. So basically a Mexican mule, no lime juice, add pineapple, and then muddled jalapenos. And it is phenomenal. I'm a pineapple guy. I just recently found out that D. Betty put out a pineapple. So we don't have it yet, but next week we'll be having D. Betty pineapple. So we have full bar. I can literally make anything. We have, I keep fresh fruit on hand, raspberries, blackberries, watermelon. We have a drink on our menu called Smoke on the Water, basically a mezcal, smoky watermelon margarita that's super popular during the summertime. But like I said earlier, you can come with your boys. We do buckets of beers. We're only one of 2 places in town that do buckets of beers. Domestics, imports, we'll mix them up. One of our specialty buckets is our Modelo's, which is a drink that I learned from one of my friends, Catherine Legender, who I've known my entire life. She's now a super popular musician at Austin. She's phenomenal. Our Modelo can, lime juice, Tabasco, tahini, crack her open. Can't beat it on a summer day.
You go set it up.
Yeah.
Did you get all that?
we do buckets of those, armadillos. Come out with your boys, watch the sports. We have 7 TVs, 5 inside, 2 outside. We have all the sports packages. Get a lot of big crowds for the games, which is great.
Yes.
Come, bring a date, cocktails, martinis. I can literally make anything you can think of. One of the drinks on our menu that I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that does it around here is an espresso margarita. I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of requests for espresso martinis and stuff like that. We do an espresso margarita. I won't tell you what's in it. It's a secret, but it is phenomenal. If you actually go to our Instagram,
where did that info come from?
Oh, just being bored behind the bar and just try and just
one
mix
night I
things
meant
up.
to grab a vodka and I came out with a tequila.
My wife makes fun of me. If I can make any tequila and jalapenos, I can make anything with those. Those are my two favorite things. So I'm
always
trying to.
I have tequila and jalapenos.
Yeah.
I'm a cooking machine and yeah.
Yeah. So any kind of like classic cocktail that you've seen, it's just fun to kind of mess around with them and see what you can do and see what flavors mix well and see what works and what doesn't. And trust me, I've made something and I'm like, this is gonna be amazing. And I'm like, do never tell anybody.
So I have a challenge for you.
Yes.
I have a challenge for you. This is so we'll kind of call this the first year of the talk,
yes.
Right?
Yes, we are.
So let's say we're in 2025 right now. Let's shoot a goal for in 2026. Then that's a good minute. We are in March. So in March of 2026, around spring break time.
Yes.
We should have a top drink menu book.
Oh yes, that is actually on my list of things to do. In fact,
Curtis's.
We have
top 10 Curtis's top.
Yes.
This
that's a
we'll
great
call
idea.
It. So there you
So
go.
we actually have our legit menus on the way. I cannot wait for them to get here. They're beautiful.
These need to be the hidden. These need to be the espresso tequila margaritas.
Yes.
You're gonna pull this out the vault.
Yeah. No, I trust me, I have a book of them. We can do this right now, honestly.
Do not get the napkins and grab us a pen. And let me poke my finger.
That is a great goal. Speaking of goals, we have so many. When it comes to things, you have to, not only do you have to do what you feel or what you think is going to be great for the business and for your customers, but you also have to make sure, we like to make sure we do everything correctly here. When we set this place up, I was the one, the health department wasn't hitting me up, I was hitting them up. I was like, I want to make sure I do everything right. I don't want to get this place open and get bumping, and then you come in here one day and say, oh,
that was me with TABC with all of our things. Of course, I knew them, but I was like, look.
Yeah, so we try to make sure that we do everything right. So when it comes to our goals, we are very meticulous and we do our homework, and we're just making sure that we do things right. In fact, I love that you brought up our parking. That's our next big thing. I want to just clean that up a little bit. People come out here and they go, oh man, this is great. What you should do is extend that and put a big concrete slab. I don't want to put concrete. I don't want to cut down trees. I don't want to put concrete. We're in the hill country. That's part of the appeal about this place.
You need to leave it the way it is.
Yes, exactly.
Go to Lukenbach.
Exactly.
Do you see? No.
Exactly.
No.
So when it comes to our goals,
chaos. Then you figure it out. Literally. Even if you just start and we have to do this at resort. One, because I have no parking. You have plenty of parking.
Yeah.
But literally, we had to go in, and I just took striping paint and just
Yeah.
Just set them a little goal. If they come,
if
you build it, they will come.
They'll figure it out. That's another thing about this place. Fredericksburg is one of those places,
there's always going to be one asshole that parks sideways or whatever.
It's usually someone that I know.
It always is.
Yeah, we have a big no parking sign right in front of the front door, and
that's
once
my
a week,
truck out there right now.
Yeah, once a week, a big truck or somebody will pull up, and I'm like, who is this? I'm like, oh, of course, I know who it is.
Yeah, they do it at our place all the time. Pull straight through, right in front of the bar, and I'll radio to the kids. They're like, who is this? And they're like, well, they said they were coming down there to see you, and they'll be sitting right there. And I'm like,
that was you.
Yeah, get your shit and go move. Yeah, no, I don't like you that much. You can't. Do that.
So it's just when it comes to setting goals, we just try to make sure that we do everything correctly, and like I said, slow, make sure you're doing it right, take your time. Again, I love timing has been a big thing that we've talked about, but it is timing. It is. You can say, hey, I want to get this done by a certain date, and you might get it done by then, and you might not, but you only have so much control over it.
If you don't.
Exactly, yeah.
Do it your way.
Yes,
Trust
exactly.
me.
Yeah.
I've had a million people come in and go, just like you said.
Oh, you should do this, or you should do that, or you should do that. I'm like, see, that
As
sounds like a good idea.
I'm gonna go to the left now that you said that.
But also, it's like people walk in and they look around, they take one look around, they go, oh, you should do this. I go, I understand. I thought that too.
Yeah.
But if you do that, then that, and that, and you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Would you like salt with your drink?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, here's a napkin.
So would you like to leave this open? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Exactly.
In fact, we're just gonna wrap you up right now.
Yeah. And go, no, we never wrap. No. That's why my wife's not allowed to work behind the bar. My wife is a school teacher, so she used to second grade school teacher. So when the kids get out of line, that's it. working in this industry, people get out of line sometimes.
Not sometimes.
Yeah, pretty much every day. But you can't cut everybody off just because they don't like the way they talk to you. You can't kick them out all the time. You can't kick everybody out. You won't have any customers. No. So my wife's not. One little attitude for my wife. One of these, and my wife's like, out. And I'm like, no, don't kick them out. You're fine. Yeah. You're fine.
Sit down.
Yeah. Please don't snap at me. But here's a drink. Go sit outside.
Please don't do that. Just maybe something like that. Maybe.
Yeah. You have to be. This job is very. You have to be.
You really do. I tell you, we were talking about it's at the river. We're only open 3 months out of the year, and every weekend, just when I think I've seen it all, the next weekend rolls around. I'll never saw that one coming.
Yep.
And I really didn't think that you were going to be the one that was going to have to grab by the neck and throw out of here. And the kids will turn me off on the radios and go, "You cannot." I was like, "Oh, I can. Oh, yes, I can say that."
I'll tell you this though,
that you do learn to change and laugh it down, or I can turn somebody around like they were about to play pin the tail on a donkey. They just thought they were about to run like the rage room, and then 20 minutes later they're crying and calling me mama, and I didn't mean to hit that guy. Shit, I don't think about your choices, and let's go have a beer. You need to freaking get your shit together.
Get your shit together. No, but we I'll say one thing. Exactly. I'll say one thing. One thing I do miss about New Braunfels is a lot of people, a lot of different characters, and it can get a little, but also it's a lot of fun. When you have a full bar and it's just like the perfect mix of people, it can be, there's nothing better.
Right.
Fredericksburg is a little more tame. I'll tell you that. We honestly have had almost no issues here at all, which is great. In 5 months, it's pretty much unheard of to run a bar and have absolutely no.
That's my deal.
No problems.
And I'm thinking, okay, so y'all pull up here, you have this beautiful atmosphere. You've got oak trees, you've got deer, there's birds. You're out here in Texas Hill Country.
Yeah, it's God's country.
And if you are going to come over here with your attitude,
honestly,
you need to put it outside on the other side of that cattle guard, and then come back in here. Let's have a cocktail, relax. Enjoy, God's country.
That's also one great thing about where we're at.
It's so beautiful out here.
Yeah, and having all the locals here, honestly, if anybody does start acting up, I honestly don't even need to do anything. It'll take care of itself. Yeah, which is also great. Our locals that come in here all the time are phenomenal. And, they like to have fun too. Once in a blue moon, I'm like, hey, and they're like, oh, my bad. Yeah, but this place has been great. The town of Fredericksburg is great. It's a tourist town, so... I hear things all the time. We get nothing but compliments about our service here, and it's a testament to my employees and myself and my family and our investors and just the people that we draw. That's one of the compliments we get the most is every time we go in there, everyone's so nice and everyone's so friendly. And there's a lot of places in town that they are tourist destinations, so locals don't go in there as much. They're very busy. They're great places, but the service in some places can lack in a tourist town. In New Braunfels is the same way. You go in and they think you're a tourist, so they're not worried about second time business. They're worried about you're in here now. You're probably never going to come back in here, and you're going to go back to wherever you're from and whatever. But one thing I try to tell everybody is I don't care where you're from. I don't care if you're local. I don't care if you're not. I want you to have the best experience ever when you come into one of my establishments, and we've been able to do that. My staff has been great, and even me, I have what you like to call resting bitch face. So like I have to give a little extra.
I get it. I keep my sunglasses on. I'm really good about it. I take laps. Like when I know Nick's really good about going, I think you need to go. She'll send me on a scavenger hunt, and I'm like, I want to go
find this thing that we don't even have.
You do want to go look for exactly what I told you to go look for. Yeah, there's an arrowhead out there somewhere. You need to go find. Yeah, you go.
I'll be honest with you. It's funny. People that have known me for years know that when I have a real busy bar, I have my game face on. But that's when I'm actually having the most fun. Like I love it.
Me too.
I love when people come to the bar and they go, dang, you're hustling. I'm like, yes, I am. Let's go. What do you need? Let's go. I love popping 8 beers at a time and tossing out buckets of beer. That's how so much fun. You can't beat it. That's how that Saturday was. We sold so much beer.
It was so good.
It was great.
I was so
happy. The energy was like
so
palpable that day. It was great.
It was
And that's what we're searching for. That is speaking of goals, that's our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is when you come in here and be like, man, this place is bumping. This place is fun. Yes. Everyone's having a good time, and
it was so awesome. Yeah. And it was really good to walk in and see Bill and Kathy and our people from,
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, it was just so good to see. Lance was here.
I was just about to bring that up. So the first
Bob and Courtney, and it was so
the
good.
First weekend we were open, that Thursday was slammed. Yeah. Friday was slammed. Saturday during the day was slammed. It slowed down a little bit at night, but that was also Oktoberfest was going on here, which, Wurstfest is the obviously New Braunfels staple. It's the, if I'm getting this correctly, Wurstfest is the second biggest German festival in the country.
It is.
Oktoberfest in Fredericksburg is the third largest, which is funny because the gap between 2 and 3 is pretty huge. But, so we were competing with that the first weekend. But right when it slowed down, I was like, let's slow down a little bit. No joke, 30 seconds later, a party bus pulls up, Janine, and all my Oyster Bar peeps, and Lance and all them.
Yes.
Yeah, like perfect timing. Well, one thing I love about this is we've been open 5 months.
They didn't tell you.
Well, so I knew someone was getting a bus, but I didn't know who was going to be on that bus.
That's
one of those things.
Cute.
But yeah, so we've been open for a little over 5 months, and at least once every 10 days, someone walks in the door, and I'm like, what is up? It's so good to see familiar faces, and people just. It makes you feel good when people actually, make the effort. Because people say, hey, we'll come see you. Yeah, right. You never see them. But, when I'm telling you, once every 10 days, somebody walks in. We were sitting here one day, and I went outside to do something. I had a full bar. I went outside to grab something, and there was someone parked way in the back. And I saw him come like, that guy looks like my buddy Bill Long. He's walking like Bill Long. And about 5 minutes
Everybody loves Bill.
And about 5 minutes later, Bill Long walked up. I was like, what are you doing here? And it was like a weekday. I was like, what are you? He's like,
saw his post.
Took a drive.
So happy.
Took a drive and came to get a drink, and I was like, oh, I love it. It's a really good feeling. That's what this is really about. It's about making people happy and just giving people a place to where they can relax and get away from all the bullshit. And just give them a place where.
Well, I think through this,
they can relax.
I'm so happy for you. It literally is like. And I'm a crier, so it'll probably happen.
Don't cry.
But
don't cry at the top.
I just kind of think that it's kind of ironic how when we started recording here today, and we turned the sound down, and you said, "Do you mind if is the ice machine going to bother sound or whatever?" And Nick said, "No, it's fine." And I'm thinking irony at its finest when you started with 5-gallon buckets, scooping ice, being a bar back, filling ice chest,
and now I'm back to it.
Sitting here,
and now I'm back to it.
That's
exactly what I.
But you're at the top. We are in the top. Curtis owns the top. Yeah, you may still be scooping.
Oh yeah.
But I'm still doing the same. I mean,
but it's my ice.
It's your ice machine.
Yeah, it's
your
just a little bit different. Yeah, you realize how expensive an ice machine is.
Yeah. And the parts when they take a shit.
Oh, exactly. Well, we have companies that do that. Thank goodness, because But it's one of those things. People. My buddy Chris, I have a good buddy Chris. He lives in Mexico now. Worked his butt off his entire life. Was a firefighter. Had side jobs his whole life. His goal. I met him 10 plus years ago, and one of the first times I ever met him, he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna retire and move down to Mexico." And I'm like, That's awesome.
So beautiful.
That's awesome. But how many people told you that? Nope. Chris, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, Chris retired. Moved down to Mexico. He lives in Mexico. Haven't seen him in 2+ years. But every once in a while, we'll shoot each other texts. And literally 3 or 4 days ago, he shot me a text just, how's it going? How we doing? And you have those conversations. And he owns a little small business down there I think he's doing scuba diving, boat stuff. And, you just talk about things. And there are certain people that reach out to you that generally want to know how you're doing and and then give you inspiration and have great conversation. You have other people like, oh, you own a bar. So you're rich now. And I'm like, I've never been. You know what I mean?
In my
Never
life.
been more broke in my life.
100%.
But that's just how it is. But that's how it has to be. This is my baby, and we're new, and everything, all the effort, and money to me is not even who cares?
Right.
It's all material. I had this conversation literally 2 weeks ago with my father. You know, and
cool
like
man.
a positive,
Such a
yeah.
cool
My
man.
dad's great,
He
but
is.
it was a positive, like it just came naturally, a positive conversation. You know, you look around and you talk about what you got to do and what we got to do for this, and get people more people in here, and what are our goals and how do we reach them and all this stuff. And at the end of the day, this is what is the fun part. Actually finding a property, fixing it up,
You're here.
making it to where you want it,
You're
and
here.
yeah, we're there. But you know, reaching a goal is great, but the journey to reaching your goal is what it's all about. You know, yeah. And I mean, how many people get to say that they own a business with their dad? Like, you know what I mean? It's a rarity. You know, it's I mean, yeah. I mean, we could have a whole other podcast about that.
Yes.
Talking about tears
So,
that would probably happen,
seriously,
but
yeah.
you know, it's the little things
Well,
that.
one, family businesses, and I've got several, is one of the absolute hardest things in a marriage, in a family. If you cannot figure out how to turn it off and how to shut it down, and then it will absolutely never work.
Oh yeah.
It will never ever work. It will drain you. It will bury you 6 foot under. You have got to figure out that you guys are in a relationship. Y'all live each other. Outside of that, I mean, my kids have their businesses. We have our businesses, and you there's got to be a absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is Sunday. We are going to have our dinner, whatever it is.
100%. Yeah.
We are not going to sit here at Thanksgiving and talk about how stupid you think that little Johnny was and how
Or-
whatever and da da
yeah,
da.
yeah,
We're not
yeah,
doing that. We're
yeah.
not doing that. You can't do it. It'll
Yeah.
destroy you.
I mean, exactly, and that's with anything in life. You know, this is what I'm doing right now, but it's not. It doesn't define me as a person. It won't define me later in life, no matter how successful or unsuccessful it ends up being 10, 20 years from now. At the end of the day, you know, you have to. Family and friends and the relationships you build.
And I have to. One thing, and take this for what it's worth, and I've told everybody and the kids that have worked with me and have gone on and grown their wings, and I've said friends that have come and stayed at my place or gone to buy liquor at the bookstores or bought stuff at my boutique and blah 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 whatever. From 8 to 5, if you're working for me or you're whatever, I don't have to like you and you don't have to like me.
Yeah.
Business is business.
That is true.
It is all about the rent. Afterwards, I can say fuck you and you can say fuck me and blah blah blah. After that, I'm gonna hug you, I'm gonna kiss your face, we're gonna high five, we're gonna go have a cocktail, we're gonna have a nice dinner, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you cannot get your feelings hurt in the business world when it comes to family and friends. It is what it is.
Yep.
You have to understand.
Completely
Curtis is
agree.
running a business here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna walk here and go, Curtis, I've known you for 30 years, let's wow. And you cannot do that.
Do I get a discount?
Do I
get a discount?
Yeah. No, in fact,
I
tell anybody and everybody that
I've
goes into
seen that
mine and says,
so many places.
I know Tiffany, and they try to zoom through, and I go, the kids are radioing me. They now know, don't even radio me. I said, well, then charge them double.
Yep.
I don't really,
Tell
it's
them
$25 to get in or whatever it is. Nope, for you today, it's a nice Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. You're welcome.
Yeah.
She'll meet you down
That's.
at the bar.
I mean,
but
people,
you just can't.
Yeah. People say that all the time. You know,
And I tell
if
them,
you really want to
the bank
support
does
your
not
friend,
give a shit
yeah,
if you're
exactly.
my friend or if you're my cousin,
Exactly.
if you're my auntie, grandma's nephew.
If you really want to support your
The
friends and
bank
family,
does not give a shit.
pay more.
Support them.
Buy a koozie. I'm not going to give you that now. I say that I've definitely.
I say the same shit.
Exactly.
In
fact,
give them all love.
Yeah, one night we went to the other night there's the preschool here in Fredericksburg. It's called Bethany Preschool. Great school. My nieces and nephews, or my niece went there. My nephew goes there. All of their friends' kids go there. It's a great school. They do one big fundraiser every year, and it was actually Thursday night, and they have all these local vendors do all stuff, and they have a welcome cocktail. So we actually got to do that.
I
this
saw
year.
that. That was cool.
And it was so great, so much fun. 200 something people, great crowd. Everyone was super nice. Everyone gave us lots of comments. Whatever. There was a reason. I knew this was going to happen. I do this all the
First of all,
time.
I just want to give a
ramble
shout
all
out
the time.
to Bethany's preschool for starting this with an opening cocktail.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you
yeah,
have watched any of my shows, I have said it.
This is a
To your
preschool benefit.
teachers.
Here's alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with?
That's how you get people to raise their paddles when they're
I don't know
actually
who's
stuff
running that
on.
school, but
Oh yeah, no, they're doing.
they need to run for president.
And it really was. It was a fantastic event, and there was a reason why I started
cocktails were
talking about this. But thank you so
I saw
much. That was our Raz Smash. We have that on our menu. We can do that all the time. But little benefits like that are what we also love about little communities like this. We can offer up our services any way we can. We just love to benefit our community, which me and my wife, coming into this, this being in New Braunfels, Fredericksburg, no different. Out-of-towners come in and they want to change things. We love Fredericksburg. We want to
protect it,
add on to what we love about it. We want to continue the appeal of it and keeping it small town and keeping it local and keeping it, just helping people out and not charging people.
Right.
Helping each other out. Right. I think that's where we were going with. If you're a friend or a family and they own a business, go support them. Go spend your money. Go buy your shirt. But there have been nights when we go try to say hi to people at other establishments that we know that have supported us, and next thing you know, we leave and I go, I wore a hat in there. And my wife goes, yeah, you gave it to some guy. Mm-hmm. Some guy said, what? Oh, the top university. And I go, here's a hat.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
I have to buy it now. Now I have to buy another hat that I put myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do that constantly. But this is just such a great place. The Texas Hill Country, you can't beat it. No. I really appreciate it, and we've gotten, like I said, honestly, it is overwhelming. Sometimes, I go through days or weeks where no one texts me or anything, which is fine. I'm busy.
Yes.
But then there's days where like my phone just blows up and I'm like, who's texting me? And it's just nothing but like, hey, I saw you do this. Mm-hmm. You're kicking ass. Yeah. Like, great job. Like, you look like you're doing great. Blah blah. Or hey, we ran into someone that we had never met, and they randomly mentioned this bar in Fredericksburg, and it's yours, and it's just crazy. So the love and support we've gotten from our friends and family is just fantastic.
I'm telling you, it's what keeps you doing what you do. It's what keeps me doing what I do.
It really is.
Every time I turn around, I'm thinking I cannot handle another weekend at this river. I swear to God. And then if I'm not there by Thursday at noon, I've got 99% of our clientele are literally have turned into family to me.
Yep.
They will start blowing up my phone, going, "Where
are you?
What are you doing?"
We came to see you.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they do. A lot of people come here to listen to live music and have a good cocktail and get a cold beer.
They're here because we're Chris.
But they're here to see you and support you, and it's a great feeling, and honestly, it's a feeling that will never get old. No. I will never get sick.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. I always tell people,
irritated as I can be, pulling in that driveway, and then I step out my foot, and they're like, "Ah," and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, I love you guys. Y'all make it worth it.
I always tell people people ask me, what's your and my wife's goal? Oh, our goal is to get a little piece of property and have a bunch of animals and raise our kids and that. Or what's your goal? Yeah. What's your goal with the bar? And the bar is to expand and put a big stage and get big names out here. But my long term goal is to my dad has several grandchildren. His grandpa name is Grumpy. That is his, which is hilarious. When I was a kid, if I called him Grumpy, I would have gotten smacked. But his grandkids call him Grumpy. That's his grandpa name.
Was the grouchiest, God love you, the grouchiest human in the world. And you know what his name was? Happy.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So my dad ran a deep sea headquarters in Port Aransas for years, and when he retired from there, his retirement gift was this really big, nice rocking chair, and on the back it said Grumpy. So Christmas time we did Grumpy Cowboy Santa pictures for the kids. So he brought his rocking chair out here. He dressed up as Cowboy Santa, took pictures with the kids. It was great. Well, his rocking chair is still here, and I always get people.
I feel like I need to leave something here when we leave today, because everybody else is leaving something.
Please do. Yeah, just leave.
Well, we're gonna leave some fertilizer for you.
Someone left that wine. There's a wine rack over there that wasn't here 2 days ago. Somebody left that for us.
Just walked in with their rack and their.
Hey, that means they like us.
We're moving in.
Or they're just trying to get rid of their junk. I don't know. But the rocking chair Grumpy's out there. I always tell, at the end of the day, my long-term goal is to be an old man and drinking a beer in that Grumpy rocking chair and have people ask me stories and me just make up bullshit, because I think that's what old people do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They talk shit.
Yeah, they just make shit up. Yeah. I'll be like, Willie Nelson came in here.
Right? Back in 2025.
That sounds. Yeah. Just make stuff up. That's my long-term goal.
There you
sit
go.
in that rocking chair, drink some beer, and make stuff
good.
up. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
Hey, this was fun.
It was so much fun.
Great time. The top, Fredericksburg, Texas.
Yes.
Right outside. We're about 3 miles out down Main Street.
Yes, 290 West towards Harper. We're on just, you know, the drill. Just, you know, just maps it. Google Maps, Apple Maps, Yelp,
Just drive straight.
Facebook, Instagram, all the stuff. Yeah, come find us.
Yes.